Welcome to Win in Life Wednesday, a podcast meant to inspire, motivate, and even educate service business owners or potential service business owners to get out there and start kicking ass. I'm your host, Cornell Mack, and I am excited because tonight I get to talk to a landscape tycoon who I've been supposed to have on the show for at least 2 years now. And tonight we're going to make it happen. I will be talking to my homeboy, Jeremy Talboy, the owner of North Georgia Landscape Management. And he's going to share his winning life story, give some advice to you. And we're going to hear how him and I actually met a couple years ago and some of the things that inspired him to create an Instagram channel to start trying to help other people. And I'm trying to convince him to start a YouTube channel here too. But he is the Landscape Tycoon on Instagram, 45,000 subscribers. Followers on there. Forgive me, it is a live show. But my man Jeremy Talboy is on here tonight, and we're going to have a good time. If you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, comment down below. Let us know that you're here. On Instagram, we love you. We appreciate you. We wish you nothing but success. Put any comments or questions you may have down in the comment section. And there is some invites to the 2026 Win in Life Meetup Service Business Showcase on March 21st, 2026, and some other free downloads in the description of this video and in the podcast show notes. But without further ado, let me get my homeboy on here, Mr. Jeremy Talboy. How are you, brother?
What's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm great, man. It's warm. I got my little heater on right now in my office. I see you got a dope office set up behind you, a nice camera. You sound good on audio. So this is about to be fire, bro.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the opportunity, man. It's been a long time coming. Like you said, 2 years. Long overdue, man.
Long overdue for sure. Well, before we get started, we got to let everybody know who and why they should be, who you are and why they should be listening to you. So tell us a little bit about your landscape business and yourself and what you do before we start breaking down your winning life story.
Yeah, sure. So I am the owner of North Georgia Landscape Management here in Atlanta. I started in 2010, and I started with nothing. I started from $0, and I didn't even have no experience or nothing. And just took a risk on myself, the old, American dream, entrepreneurial spirit, right? Spirit of America, just trying to build something. And I grabbed myself a mower right out of college and just started cutting grass. And here I am. So 15 years into it, 16 years into it, we do just under $9 million, mostly commercial maintenance and construction projects, capital projects for commercial clients. So it's a pretty cool story, but I learned everything the hard way because I didn't have no experience. I never worked for a landscape company. I never cut my own grass, never did any of that. I tell people all the time, it was kind of a dumb idea really to think that I could do this, but I believed in myself, man. I believed in myself. And I just knew that if I could just pick something and pour my heart and soul into it and work, that I could be successful at it. And honestly, I thought landscape would probably be the easiest to learn. So that's why I chose landscape. And I just became a sponge, man. And I tried to learn from everybody that I could, all the resources that I could find, and essentially look at what worked for other people, the bigger companies around, and just try to mimic them. So my dad always told me, don't try to reinvent the wheel, just be another tire sales guy, and try to sell better than they can. So I took that to heart. But yeah, long story short, here I am, top 20 in Atlanta, and I started from nothing, and I made a lot of mistakes along the way. But
I'm excited to hear about that tonight.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear about. We got a celebrity in here. Lawn Care Juggernaut says, "What's up?" Let me throw that up on the good old thing. Lawn Care Juggernaut, damn near 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And what you just said is something like what Lamont said when he was on the show a couple of weeks ago, where he said he could take $1 or a dime from 10 people and make his own dollar. And that's right. That's so fire, bro. So we're gonna hear all about that tonight. But that's my man Jeremy Talboy. We met a couple years ago down at LCR Summit and in Atlanta, and Jeremy was like, what up, Big Mac? And I'm like, man, I ain't that big. I'm a little fella, but you know, what's up, bro? He was like, I'm Jeremy. I want to get on the podcast. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
hey, let's do it. It never got to happen though, because I was
Not
there.
never.
Well, now it's happening. I'm saying that at that particular event, it was a goal of mine to get a lot of interviews, but unfortunately, the information that first time was so good that I was like kind of stuck listening to the speaker so that I could learn, you know.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get as many podcasts as I wanted to get done. But me and Jeremy had some conversations in between, you know, guest speakers and lunch and all of that. And Jeremy wanted to start doing some stuff too, and that's why he was there. So let's talk a little bit about how we met, and then we'll get into, you know, business and all of that stuff. So why was you at that first LCR summit?
Yeah, so 2 years ago is when I really wanted to step on the gas as far as building my company and getting into social media a little bit. So I really started, I tell this story all the time. I changed my algorithm in Instagram, and I got rid of all the BS that weighs you down, all the politics, I mean, I still keep a little bit of sports, but I mean, it was flooded with sports. My whole Instagram feed was nothing but politics and sports and, you know, popular culture, music stuff, you know, all the stuff that is entertaining, but it doesn't elevate you. So I got rid of all that stuff and I started adding people, influencers in the landscape space. I had already followed Keith Kalfas, right? And going, you know, as I made this decision to invest in myself and to change my algorithm, because I have a little saying that, you know, what you consume will eventually consume you. So you got to make sure that what you're consuming on social media is going to be something that's going to be positive and influential. Now, anyway, so I'm following Keith Kalfas. I'm going down the rabbit hole, you know, and it's recommending me all these other influencers. And then I came across Paul Jameson, and I started, you know, looking through his page. I'm like, man, this guy likes golf. I'd like to play golf, you know? And so then I made it a goal right then and there that I wanted to be on every landscape industry podcast to learn, to get exposure, to get social media presence, all that stuff. And then to essentially get myself plugged in.
Yeah.
Right. Get some clout, get some cred, you know, so that I can be in the right rooms with the right people and learn. And so I'm going through this journey and I see Paul, and then I see that he's like 10 minutes up the road from me. And I'm like writing him messages. I'm like, hey man, let's go play golf. Let's go play golf. Like trying to get on this podcast. I'm trying to open the door to all these other possibilities of networking and exposure and all that stuff. And then through his page, I saw the LCR Summit. I saw that you were going to be there. I'm like, all right, so there's podcasts there. Let's go ahead and try to get in that room. And then all of a sudden I saw Keith Kalfas was coming and Jonathan Potoshnik. And I'm like, yo, I have got to go see them, because when I first started early on, I was watching Keith's YouTube channel. And, you know, Jonathan Potoshnik at the same time, like simple questions of how do I bid commercial properties? How do I find commercial contracts? Because I was still doing residential maintenance. And, you got to get into commercial maintenance if you want to make serious money, right? That's how you can scale. It's hard to scale on the residential side. So anyway, long story short, I saw this all-star lineup and I said, I got to get in that room. And that was the catalyst to, you know, what has happened over the last 2 years, which is, you know, the social media thing, which has allowed me so many opportunities, both personally and professionally. My personal brand, and then also my business has you know, benefited greatly. So that's how we met. I saw you in that room and you were one of the podcasters. I said, I got to get on this podcast. I didn't know it was going to take 2 years, but like I said, man, it might be late, but we're worth the wait.
It might be late, but we're worth the wait. No doubt. No, it was funny because when we were just in New Orleans together, you were a speaker down at the Sync Live conference, and we had this little exchange where we had already had this date set for like over a month that we were going to do this on this night. But when we were down, I didn't know that you were going to be down there until I don't know, like a couple days beforehand or something. And then when we were down there, we were talking about like, yeah, I can't wait to actually have you on the podcast. So I didn't even want to have you on the podcast down there because I was like, we about to do this again, and then what? We just gonna rehash the same stuff. But one of the conversations that we had there was like how you had a goal when it comes to social media, and I promise you guys, we're talking about social media because it is so important that you have this. More than just being a consumer of it, start being a creator of content too. Just like my girl Tara with Grass Girl Lawn Care, just like my homie Steve-O, they've got up to 16,000 for Grass Girl and 13,000 or something for Steve-O on Facebook, and now they can make a little bit of money to add an extra revenue stream. And that's one of the things that Jeremy and I both had a goal to do, was to make good content that helps other people so we could eventually make content to make some money, because this is a business. It's like you didn't get in the grass cutting to only make everyone happy cutting their grass. And as much as I want to I wouldn't even say influence, but inspire and motivate people just to believe in themselves so they could go do what they do. And that's what these type of shows are. But him and I both, we kind of like, we became like brothers right there in that, because we were both trying to have the same vision for what we wanted to do, which was help other people. And now he has over 45,000 followers on Instagram. So it's super important to you. How important was it for you to, like you said, get in those rooms? Obviously you got in the rooms, but now you've been all over the place. Like, why is it so important for you to stay in those rooms?
Yeah, because Naylor has a saying. He says, your network is your net worth, right? And I think he said that in that same event where I met you, and that resonated with me. I mean, at that event, I mean, I'm sitting there right next to Jonathan Potoshnik and Keith Kalfas, two people that I looked up to for, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 10 years prior. And now I'm in that room with them. So it's very empowering. It's very inspiring to be, you know, surrounded by people that are above you, right? That are where you want to go. I heard something the other day. It was on Instagram. Again, my whole feed on Instagram is all inspirational stuff, motivational stuff, and landscape related stuff. You know, I follow landscape accounts that are, you know, solo operators that are out there cutting all day, showing content of cutting. And then I follow people that have $100 million companies and everybody in between. You know what I mean? So it's important to make sure that your content is correct. But yeah, you know, I was in these rooms and I'm inspired by them. And I saw this reel the other day that said, make sure you surround yourself with people that align with your future, not that align with your past. Ooh. So essentially, where you envision yourself going, try to get in the rooms with the people that are already there, or at least on their way to that.
Yes.
Which, you know, the old saying, right? If you hang around, you know, 5 smokers, you're going to be the 6th. If you hang around 5 losers, you're going to be the 6th. On the flip side, if you hang around 5 billionaires, you might be the 6th, or millionaires. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same principle, man. So again, 2 years ago when I said I really got to pour some gas on this fire, man, I got big goals and we're kind of stagnant, and I want to elevate myself. I got to get in these, I need to invest in myself and get myself in these rooms. And that was Sync Live was the first event that I went to, and then right after that was LCR. Actually, it might have been flipped. LCR was right before Sync Live that year, because that's why you guys are all in town. But that was the beginning of it, and since then, I mean, I've probably been to. Let me back up. Prior to that, I had never went to a landscape related event. I never went to Grow. I never went to Equip Expo. I didn't see any value in it. I didn't understand the value of it. I was like, why do I got to go to Equip? I have a full truck full of stuff. I don't care to be in a whole room full of salespeople trying to sell me blowers and mowers and trimmers. Don't give a damn. I got it. I got my people down here. I didn't understand the networking side of it. I didn't understand the educational side, the exposure side. I didn't understand all that. So prior to meeting you at that event, I had never been to a landscape related event. And since then, I have probably been to 30. And I mean, dude, this year I am like on a plane every 2 weeks. It's ridiculous. I mean, we're going all over the place, but it's because the momentum that it created, right? It's a snowball effect.
No doubt.
And as I said earlier, it's not only for me and my personal brand, right? Landscape Tycoon, helping people inspiring people, the community, but it's also for my business. People see me and, I come across their feed somehow and clients see it, and I'm, building pools for people that follow me. It's wild, man. It's wild.
No
It's
doubt.
wild. And when you talk about earlier, you talk about like we share that vision to monetize and to inspire people, but also to provide, right, and build
No
wealth,
doubt.
right? It's not just a charity. Like, yeah, we obviously enjoy helping people, but you have to make content for your clients as well. You get that return when you can basically establish yourself as the authority in your market, right? Through content. And it's pretty, it's very low cost. It's almost free. It can be free. So you can monetize yourself on social media, like through YouTube, or you can sell to clients for free, right? So it's a very useful tool. But
It is, and it also helps with the SEO of everything, especially if it's named after what your business is. Mine is Mac Landscaping and Lawn Care, so that's the
yeah,
name of my company. That's the name of my YouTube channel. That's the name of my Instagram page. That's the name of my TikTok. It's the name of everything. So if you put lawn care near me, the internet just knows me, and it knows
right,
me a lot better than some of the other people, even if they have a higher Google rating. Because why do people get to actually see my face? And they
yeah,
see that, oh, this is the guy who's coming up. It's a more of a trust factor. You look more
yeah,
professional, all of that. It's just, I just think that if you have a business, like, now you're a business, you're a corporation, just like an athlete would be, just like a rapper would be. You just own a landscape company or whatever business,
yeah, yeah.
man,
And nobody's
that
going
you
to
may
promote
have.
you any better than you're going to promote yourself, right? You got a phone in your hand, you have an opportunity 24/7 to promote yourself. And the more pieces of promotion you get out there, the better off you're going to be. That's just all there is to it. You got to saturate the market. And when your competitor's not doing it, you obviously have a competitive advantage.
Yeah, like my man Justin White be saying, be a disruptor, do what the other people ain't doing. But now this is people want to. They're here because they got landscaping companies, most likely. So what did you do prior to? We talked about social media and you wanted to get into that, but before you, did you always have a landscape company right out of high school? Because some people have that. Did you get into it later, or was it because you seen it on YouTube? Like, what was the thing
Yeah,
that was like,
yeah,
this is what I'm gonna do now to go get that mower and shit?
yeah. So I went to I started my company the day I graduated from college. I graduated with a history degree, and I was going to be a history teacher and a baseball coach. Okay.
Oh,
I really enjoy teaching, which is another part of this, right? Like, I enjoy helping people. It's very fulfilling. It gives you purpose. It gives you a sense of worth. It's almost like a drug when you help somebody and they look at you and they're like, man, I appreciate that so much. Like, I don't think you understand how much I appreciate that. So anyway, that's really my passion, is coaching baseball and teaching. But, you can only make so much money when you're going to be a teacher. And I, towards the end of my college career, I was like, man, I kind of want to do something to where I can have an opportunity to build wealth. And I took 1 year off of school right before I graduated, and I was a golf caddy. And I'm caddying at this golf course, and all these dudes were coming in, Falcons players, which, okay, you're a Falcons player, I understand how you made money. But if they weren't an athlete, if they weren't a Braves player or a Falcons player or a Hawks player, they were a business owner. That's just all they're. That's who came out on a Tuesday and paid $400 for a round of golf. So, you spend 4, 5, 6 hours with these people and you start talking, and they're all regular people. They're like, I just started a blank, fill in the blank company. One guy printed credit cards, dude. So he's like, every time you go to the bank and you order a new credit card, it comes to me, I print the damn thing. And he
whoa.
made stupid money. And I'm like, dude, you can make money doing anything. But in order to make real money, you got to be the man. You got to be the top dog. I mean, you could go to business school for 10 years and be a C-suite executive at Coca-Cola. Okay, cool. But what about the dude that started Coca-Cola? I want to be that guy.
Yeah,
I
hell
want to be
yeah.
that guy. So I just started thinking, what kind of company can I start? And at the time, 2010, kind of coming out of a recession, right? So there was a lot of people that were like construction people getting laid off. losing their jobs. And what they were doing was they were just going down and getting mowers and a trailer, and they were starting to cut grass. Next thing you know, you got all these guys that are making good money. They have 100 yards all of a sudden, after 6 months of being in business. So I said, you know what? I think that would probably be kind of the easiest to learn, right? It's just cutting grass. How hard could it be? So that was the avenue I went. I'm going to start this company. If it doesn't work out, I can go back and I can teach and I can coach baseball. It's all good, whatever. I got a little safety net, something to fall back on, and I'm going to give it a shot. And like I said, how hard could it be? Well, I sucked. I stand before you. I still, to this day, I can bet anybody in the world that I am the worst landscaper that there ever was. And my company, we almost did $9 million this year. So if that doesn't tell you that it can be done, then I don't know what does. But yeah, I was a terrible landscaper, but that forced me to scale real fast. It was either like, I got to hire people that know what they're doing, or we're going out of business and I'm going to go teach the rest of my life, which wasn't a bad problem. But yeah, so that's kind of that in a nutshell, man. Started with commercial maintenance, moved into installation as fast as I could, and then bigger installations, and then, taking your residential maintenance and getting your first group of clients that are 12 months a year, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of, how about you just, we'll just call you when we want our grass cut, or can you do biweekly, or, we're going to fire you in October because the grass doesn't grow, right? That's like the first group of clients you have. And then you move into, I got residential clients that are actually 12 months. I got a little contract. We got this piece of paper. We're going to do your pine straw, your mulch, all that. And then you move into commercial maintenance. So we moved into commercial maintenance in 2019 and got rid of the residential side. That's where the scalability is, right? That's how we grew as big as we are. So, and that's where there's a lot of opportunity.
One of the things you said though was get in the rooms and then stay in those rooms. And one of the things you said about those people is they're regular people. And that's what I want to say to the person who's watching this right now, person who's listening to this now or in the future. We're all just regular people. This is one of the other reasons why I think everyone, if you have a company, should start social media. Like, because you might think that I don't think I'm special at all. Some people have like, thank you, man, you've done this and this, all only because I wanted to help people. But I decided I have a business anyway. I might as well show what I'm doing and talk about it. And you could do it too. Hell, you might be better at it than me or than Jeremy or Paul or any other people who you've been watching, or Juggernaut. Like, there's so many different ways to do things, man. And if you are in those rooms, that was one of the things that I seen at LCR Summit and EXPO was the people I was watching. 56% of the audience that watches my YouTube channel, whether it's this show or anything else, they watch on their TV. And whenever I was a kid, I watched stuff on my TV. It felt like those people were special in some way, shape, or form. And then I went to EXPO and seen all the people that was on my little TV, which was my phone, because I watch it on my phone, right? And I seen it was all regular people.
Regular people.
Right. And I don't mean I don't want to fight nobody. I want to make that crystal clear. But like I played sports my whole life, and Jeremy you was a baseball player, right?
Yeah.
I see things in a sports context. So whenever I see someone, I automatically think, man, if they close me in a cage, like at least if they ain't a wrestler, you might not make it out that cage if some of these people wrestle. But if they ain't wrestle, bro, they ain't gonna get out the cage. Yeah. That's how I feel, and you should feel that way too. I want to make that clear. It's like no one's promoting violence or anything like that, but like we're just regular people, man. Everybody is just a regular person, all the way up to the richest people on the planet. They just regular people, and we all bleed red blood. You could do whatever you see other people doing.
That's it. That's it, man. Everybody's Barack Obama said it one time in an interview. He was like, before I became president, or before I was in the Senate, I was very intimidated. I had imposter syndrome. I was intimidated. And then I get in the room and I walk out. I'm like, these are regular people. And then I become president. And it's the same thing where I'm all intimidated that I'm going to go to the G7 or the whatever, the NATO, and speak to all these people. And I'm meeting all these people. And it's all the world leaders, and they're all regular people. They're all regular people. And as far as business owners go, Let me ask you a question. You ever feel like you have no idea what you're doing?
Yeah.
You ever feel lost and you're like, dude, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't get it. I don't understand. That's normal. Even people, I think Justin White said it. Somebody said it the other day. Somebody that's up there was like, dude, we all have no idea what we're doing. We're just doing it. That's the difference. There's
Yep.
doers and there's people that don't do. Just go do it. And you'll learn and you'll learn. So, but yeah, everybody's just a regular person.
No, that's dope. So, I mean, you didn't just grow from zero to a $9 million company overnight with no problem. So, what was some things that you struggled with? That because people can go where you could go whatever direction you want to go. If you want to have a $9 million company, I believe you could get there. It's gonna take hard work and desire, like my man says in the comment section. Seth, the long guy, Collins, he says you got to have drive and desire, and I 1,000% agree. Like everyone
Red,
don't have it. That's why everyone ain't successful. We're trying to
red.
talk the people who are watching shows like this. They want to be successful, and all I'm trying to do, or Jeremy's trying to do, or any show that I do, is to try and give someone some assistance in being successful in any way, right?
That's right.
So, yeah. What were some things that you struggled with, um, both whenever you were just mowing? Because a lot of people that are listening to this are going to be guys who are starting out like that. And then, what are some struggles that you had when it came to scaling? If someone wants to get to
Yeah.
scaling their business to bigger.
Yeah. So as I said, I was a terrible landscaper, but as an owner operator, right, as a solo operator, maybe having a helper, a friend that's going to come run the weed eater and the edger for you, and you guys are going to team up for a summer or whatever. You're doing everything, right? You're doing all the sales, you're doing the marketing, you're answering the calls, you're answering the emails, you're answering the text messages, you're scheduling, you're the mechanic. You're doing all the invoicing, you're doing the receiving, so you're wearing every single hat, right? So I'll tell you, the biggest mistake that I made was trying to do all that for as long as I did without having a CRM. Now, in 2010, we didn't really have the amount of resources we have now. I mean, now we got AI now, but
Right.
back then, I mean, I remember one of my first commercial contracts, was one of these, well, it was foreclosed homes. But anyway, you had to take pictures. You had to upload pictures. Like I didn't even have a camera phone when I started, right? So just to give you an idea of the technology now compared
Right.
to then, but I'm trying to do all these jobs, run the entire business myself and do the work without a CRM.
Wow.
And now,
That's
you
how a lot
know,
of people are.
yeah, I mean, and I don't care what CRM you use. I personally use Jobber. I don't care if it's Yardbook. I don't care, but it's got to be, Aspire or any of these other ones. It's got to be able to handle all your invoicing for you, all your communications for you, your routing, all that stuff, to make you more efficient. And that is the key to, as we were talking about earlier, getting to your second truck. Mac and I were talking before that the show actually started, and I told him we were talking about getting to that second truck. Getting from one truck to two trucks is the hardest jump in this entire journey. Once you get to two trucks, all you got to do is replicate it over and over. You can go from two trucks to 100 trucks easier than you can go from one truck to two trucks.
Yeah.
It's the wildest thing. And a lot of that has to do with, you got to give up a little bit of control, right? You're going to put guys out there that have Mac Landscape and have your name on it, right? But you ain't out there, right? So it's scary. You're gonna run into a bunch of duds, right? But it's just it's something you got to do. But to answer your question, the biggest mistake was not getting a CRM sooner that could organize me and make me more efficient, which allowed me more time to work, on the business as opposed to in the business. Yeah, it's crucial for anybody. And again, there is a difference from having a business and having a company. Okay. What's the difference between a business and a company? A business is a person going out and providing a service for money. Cool. Nothing wrong with that. A company is a whole organizational structure with roles, responsibilities, teams, and that can be scaled, right? That can go from the 2 trucks to 100 trucks. Before you get to that point, without all those systems and processes in place, you're just going to have a business, which is very rewarding and fulfilling, but I always looked at it as I'm going to have to do that until the day I die because I got bills to pay, you know,
Yeah.
and I don't want to cut grass until the day I die. So that's when I was like, I mean, I originally set out to build something big. That was the goal. Build something big. If it don't work, we're going to take a shot. We're going to shoot at the stars, hopefully hit the moon. If it don't work out, we're going to go back and coach baseball. So
No, that's dope. So what was all right? So obviously going from one truck to two is you said the biggest jump, and that's probably the hardest thing to do. But now that you are bigger, what is the hardest thing to do once you have gotten to the point where you have systems, you got a CRM, you got all of that, and now you're jumping into, multi-million dollar things. Like, so what's the biggest struggle for you as a bigger company now?
yeah, so that would be managing people and finding super talented people. And I'll tell you, social media has really helped with that because, again, you get exposure, whether it's on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook. Um, when you promote yourself as much as I do, the word spreads, right? And some people love me, some people hate me, and that's fine. But people know who I am. So now when I post a job opening, the talent pool is so much bigger because people actually know who I am.
Yeah.
But the hardest thing is managing people. I mean, just envision having, I think I got, I don't know, 11 or 12 managers, something like that. And
How many total employees do you have?
Yeah. And so in the middle of the summer, it's close to 100.
Jeez.
It's all the crews, all the install guys, and then obviously all the salespeople, managers, all that stuff. And again, I don't have management experience. I wasn't a manager prior. I didn't get a management degree. I'm learning as I go, and managing people's hard. You got to manage everybody differently. Everybody has different ways that they learn. Different ways of doing things, and different expectations. But one thing we've been talking about over the last couple months is really upgrading our standards, right? And being able to create SOPs, which we've been doing with Landscaper. Landscaper is a fantastic product. If anybody knows anything
Someone
about
might be new. What's a SOP?
Standard operating procedure. It's everything written out. Okay. Everything. It's step-by-step instructions for a role or a task.
When should someone start doing that?
Well, you need to do it before you start hiring people. And look at this. I'm gonna look right in the camera. I just started doing it within a year, and I have 100 employees. Okay, so wow. I am so overdue. I can tell you that's another mistake, right? Not having a CRM on time, not having standard operating procedures. But let me tell you why I did that. Because I hired people that had 20 or 30 years experience to come in. And hey, we're going to build this maintenance route out, okay? And I yielded to them because I didn't have I didn't have landscape experience other than owning my company. But again, I'm learning as I go. So I bring in people that have all this experience. I'm like, well, what do you think we should do? What's typical for the landscape industry? And I was relying on them. And I didn't want to be even if they were tell me stuff that I was like, that don't make sense. But you got 30 years experience. Who am I to tell you that? That you're wrong, right? I don't want to be the guy sitting at the table that hires somebody and tells them all that they're wrong. So, I kind of just let all them make all the rules. And then I was like, this isn't working. Now I have a whole new team of people, and we know what works. We know what didn't work from the previous, group of people that we had. And now it's like, all right, we know what works. Everybody's doing exactly what we need. Now let's document it. So we're in Atlanta right now. My goal is to have a branch in Charlotte and Greenville, North and South Carolina, before the end of the year. How are we going to bring the same standards, right? S of SOP, right? Standard operating procedures. How are we going to have the same standards in a different market if we don't have systems and processes, right? It's the only way you can scale. So we got to document everything. And then we can take it to a different market. We can train those people to do exactly the way we do it here that works. So yeah, if you're going to scale, you better have all those systems and processes. But again, better late than never. I waited 14 years before actually implementing it and putting it in place. I've heard it all. I read the books. I heard, people talk about it, but I never actually implemented it. And it wasn't until I started going to these events and getting myself in these rooms and hearing everybody say the same damn thing. It's like, you know what, you better listen, but then the next question is, well, how? And then now I've learned how. So now it's, it's a super exciting time.
Litho's Lawn Care says to watch you guys own up and own your mistakes is amazing, bro. Well, I mean, that's a part of being real. I like one of the things you said there, Jeremy. He's like, I haven't done it either. And I'm like, yeah, see, that's the thing. Everybody is a human. If you feel like you are the only person doing something away, then you're giving yourself too much credit. I've learned not to give myself that much credit, to think I'm so unique that I'm the only one feeling this way or doing this certain type of thing. I literally had a invoice. Jeremy, I was telling my boy Cedric this. I was on the phone with him earlier. I had an invoice that I was supposed to send out in November, bruh. It's February. I sent it out, you know what I mean? And we did get paid for it, but it was just like, yeah. So if you're sitting there and you got old invoices that you ain't sent out, man, send them out, especially the commercial things. Like maybe not so, I don't know about the other stuff, but like send that stuff out. You need to get paid. But if you're one of those people that ADHD be getting the best of me a lot, I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? It has to be urgent for me to actually do it. Besides
You need automation.
yeah, well, that's why I got Jobber. And by the way, we both use Jobber. Code go.getjobber.com/Mac will get you a 14-day free trial of Jobber. And if you decide to go with it, you will get a special discount, and I will receive a small commission. And that's one way you can support the show and the things that we do here. And I appreciate you for it. But Jobber's Fire is one of the things that got me organized and got me automated so I could actually get paid for my residential customers. I never had problems getting paid from my commercial customers, but my residents, ADHD would get me. I might not charge them boys.
But you see Jobber's automation now. As soon as you close a job, you can automate it to send that invoice out. You don't have to manually send it anymore.
And I do mine's because I do recurring maintenance. I do get paid first, like a fast food restaurant, bro. I call it the fast food method, stress-free lawn care. That's what we're doing, but not sending them invoices out. The commercial ones sometimes can stress me out, but hey, ADHD, it is what it is. All right, Jeremy. Now you have this big business. You're a family man. I got the awesome privilege to meet your wife. I got to talk to our daughters. Got to meet each other on the thing before we actually hit record. What is winning in life for you? Because we all have businesses and all that, but I truly deep. Some people might get into it, and that might be, what they feel their purpose is. I gotta have a big business or $1 million, $1 billion, $1 trillion business or whatever. Me and how I do things is literally I want to be around my family as much. I want to leave a lasting legacy for my children and their children's children, like it says we should do in the Bible. Like that is most important. It's not ever about really money to me. And I'm not saying it is for you or anybody else, but what is winning in life? Like, why do you do all of this stuff?
Yeah, money makes it easier. I'll tell you that.
For sure.
Yeah, but I mean, I share the same sentiment as you, man. Like work-life balance. Before I had kids and my wife, I mean, when I first started my company, I was working 24/7 because you're trying to build something.
Yeah.
Right. And you don't have anything else that's requiring your attention. And it's the only purpose of your life is your career before you have a family. But then once your family comes along, you got to learn how to balance it. And then there's still people. I mean, think of like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, right? They are top of the top, but they're never going to have a family. They're never going to have a relationship that works because they're married to the game, right? And that's cool. I get it. But I don't need to be that rich, right? I don't think you need to be that rich. I don't think anybody listening needs to be that rich, especially at the expense of not having what truly matters, right? Which is people that care about you and people that love you. You can't take this money with you when you die. And when you're on your deathbed, who's going to be there next to you? It's not going to be a pile of cash. It's going to be people that love you, right? So that's what success looks like to me is, a loving family that supports you, that believes in you. You know, my wife tells me every single morning before I leave the house, she never lets me leave the house without her telling me that she believes in me. And that's something super special. You know,
About to
when you
make
have
me
a,
tear up, bro.
yeah, when you have a girl like that, I mean, you can move mountains, you know, like you're unstoppable. Um, I love my wife, but it's funny because when I was in college, before I decided that I was going to start this company, we had the Georgia Board of Regents, and you had to take this little essay test to basically see if you could stay in college or not, if you were worthy of still being in college. I think it was like sophomore year. And the question that I was given was, what is your definition of success? And this is long before I had a wife or kids, right? I was still in my college days. So you can imagine what was going on, right? But my answer was exactly what I just told you. To have a, you know, a good, you know, career, whether it be a business owner or just a good career, but ultimately to have a family that believes in you, that loves you, a life full of joy, you know. And I met your daughter. I could see the joy, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing like that. She's smiling. She's happy. I can see when you guys look at each other, there's a feeling. That's what success is about. And my goal, I'm about to turn 43 in 11 days. No, 10 days. 10 days, I turn 43. I would like to, by the time I'm 50, have this company like on autopilot to where I can still do things. I still do the promotional stuff, but the company runs itself. Everybody's in the right seat. I got the right people in the right seats. It's running itself. And I can literally just go follow my son play baseball. You know, he'll be 18. Hopefully he's playing at like UGA or, you know, Florida State or something. And I can just go all around the country and watch him play ball. And that's my definition of success right there. That's the vision I have in my head. I'm gonna tell you something, Mac, and I'm not lying. No bullshit, man. Everything that I've ever wished for and prayed for and thought and manifested in my head, it has come true. So I guarantee you, when I'm 50 years old, I'm gonna be riding around this country watching my son play college baseball, because that's just the way it is. That's the way it works. Another little trick to piggyback off of the manifestation and creating the life that you want through visualization and positive thinking and all that stuff. I like to play golf. Okay, y'all write this down. I made a tee time for my 100th birthday. You know why? Because I want to live to be 100. So I made a tee time. I called the golf course and said, hey, man, I need to make a tee time for February 21st, 2083. And they were like, excuse me? And I said, just write it down for me, because I'm going to make that tee time. And not only am I going to be 100 years old, but I'm going to still be in good enough shape to where I can hit a damn golf ball. So if anything happens to me before then, I cannot go to heaven because I got a tee time.
Yeah, well, you still gonna go to heaven whenever that day comes, but
after the golf,
after the tea time though. Well,
yeah.
You know, I ain't 100. That's a long time, bro. That's a long time.
Yeah, but if you can still hit a golf ball at 100,
they had
you're
someone
obviously in good shape, dude. Have you seen William Shatner?
What is he? 98, 99,
96 or something? But you would think he was 70. Like, that's what I'm trying to do.
I feel you on that, bro.
Because look, this is called the Win in Life Wednesday. Win in life. Life is a blessing, dude. And there's people out there that it is every day is the worst day of their life, and they're miserable, and I hate that for them. I wish they could change it. But life is a gift, right? Life is a gift. Every single day is a gift. Make the most of it. I want to be here as long as I can. I pray about it every day. I want a long, full, joy-filled life with my family. Again, so that's part of it, right? I'm trying to get that golf round at 100. But anyway, that's a long, drawn-out answer. But that's my answer.
But that's good, because again, like I said, most of these the people talking about lawn care and teaching you lawn care and all of that, they teaching you how to have a business. All right, but I almost cussed right there, but I didn't. What are you doing it for though?
No, what's your purpose?
Because if you're only doing it for having a business, like he said, and not have a family, not have someone to share what you're growing, if you don't have someone to share it with, then what is the point? Who cares? No one's going to care about your retaining wall 10 years from now. But you know what? My little daughter, your birthday's on the 20th, right?
21st.
My daughter, I got a fifth. She'll be 15 on the 20th. You know what I mean? But when those girls and my son and they look at me, they see their dad and they see me with a glow behind me, just like you see right now with the with the background. It's a golden glow, right? Because they see a dad who's going out and going after his dreams. That's what Jeremy's kids and his wife is going after. And so whether you're a man or a female, doesn't matter. Go after your dreams, because the only people that can make our dreams come true is us.
That's right.
Right? No one's here. No one's coming to save us. Right. But at the same time, like, once you start to achieve your, like, man, figure out what is working for you. Jeremy started out ball to the wall. We going after it because he didn't have a wife and kids. But the older we get, Jeremy, the more we learn, the more wisdom we get, and the more we stop caring about the superficial things that, and materialistic things, and the more I start personally, Jeremy, you could chime in. I start to think about, like, what legacy am I leaving, and how did I affect people, and who's my goal. Yours is to have 100 years. I talk about this probably too much, but mine is to have a long funeral procession because I help so many people, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, you gotta have a bigger vision for why you do what you do. So, like, I don't do all of this to have glory and adulation. I do it so that I could glorify God and that I can help other people because I want to have that long funeral. So I have a big vision for your life. Jeremy, as we get out of here, what are your thoughts on I'm going to step away real quick like before, but what are your thoughts on Equip moving to Florida? Tell us that, and I'll be right back.
Yeah. Orlando is awesome. It's Florida. A lot of things to do down there, and it's a bigger market, right? It's I think it's year round, right? It's very competitive because you got the hospitality industry down there. So I think it's good. I go to Orlando too much, so I wish it was a little bit further away or somewhere else. But yeah, I don't know that this past season was the first time I ever went to Equip. As I said earlier in the show, man, never really understood the value of going to a place where they had a bunch of equipment, but it's not just the equipment. The equipment's good. There's a lot of new technology that comes out every single day, so that's always good, but it's the networking aspect. The people that you get to meet, other influencers that you might see, they're all there. The keynote speaker this past time was Jesse Cole from the Savannah Bananas dude. That keynote speech was awesome. That dude is talk about motivating and inspiring. Man, after I got done listening to him, I felt like I could run through a wall, man. Yeah, Equip.
I got a bat signed by the dude.
Yeah, man.
Banana
dude, that was such a great speech. So it's about a lot more than that. But Orlando's a great place. Like I said, there's a lot of local companies down there that'll probably be there. I mean, they probably go to Kentucky too, but there's going to be a lot. It's going to be a little bit different, but it's going to be bigger, I feel like. So I'm excited about it. I love Orlando.
I'm excited too. And then I also thought to myself, I mean, sometimes it's cold in Louisville. One year it was 30 degrees. Another year it poured down rain. And in October, it's always hot, like hot down there. I went with my first time going to Disney World. We took my daughter. It was 94 degrees or something. It was like the end of September. It was crazy.
Brutal, yeah.
It was crazy. But before we land the plane here, where do you see the industry going? Like, what changes are you making that are going to help you, create that 100-year life where you don't have to work? But so, what changes are you making technology wise? Are you automating? What are you using?
That's it. You answered it. I mean, in order to live to 100, you got to keep those cortisol levels low. You got to keep your stress low, right? So the name of the game right now is all tech, right? There's robotics coming in. There's automation. There's AI agents. For instance, marketing. I do all the marketing at my company. I'm decent at it. I'm not the best at it, but I do a good job. I get the phone to ring, right? And now there's this big shift away from SEO to what's called AEO, which is AI optimization, right? Because people are starting to use AI, Chat GPT, Perplexity, whatever it is, they're using it as a search engine. So now there's a whole different system of how to rank. So it used to be, okay, you got a bunch of 5-star Google reviews, your Google My Business page is locked in, and then you got, backlinks and all this stuff on your website. So that's what you need to keep the SEO, and you're paying for Google ads, and that would get your phone to ring. That's all of a sudden not working as well. And here pretty soon, you got to be showing up on Chat GPT or Perplexity or whatever, Manus, whatever, any of these AI search engines. So that game is changing. So now I'm diving into how to do all that stuff. You got to keep up with the times, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all tech, man. Automation's a big one. Jobbers really doing a lot to automate as much as they can to make it as easy for us to be as efficient as possible and to maximize our time. Buy back your time. Dan Martell, right? Buy back your time, right? If it takes me, let's just say I send out invoices, 100 invoices every Monday, and it takes me 2 hours. Well, if I can automate that, that's 2 hours a week. That's 100 and something hours a year, right? That I can spend now selling or, building walls or whatever. I can repurpose it. So automation, man, technology is what we're really focused on now. Just trying to stay ahead of our competition. How do we outrank them? How do we create new efficiencies? There's AI for bidding. I got on my Instagram page, I got videos of how we bid these big, huge properties in an hour, all through AI. So yeah, just freeing up your time and getting your team to be as efficient as possible using all the newest technology. That's what we're focused on right now.
No doubt. Henderson's Lawn Care Service on Instagram. He says, do you enforce that your team wears PPE?
Me?
Personal protection equipment, yes.
Yeah, eyes and ears. So we have it all. We provide it all. But look, I can't be on every property with everybody. So to answer, do we enforce it? We expect it, but
Okay.
enforceability is a little bit different. Especially we have documents, it's provided, they're supposed to sign it. It says, I understand that I got to wear all this. And then you tell the crew leaders, but when they get on a property, they all go different directions. So hard to enforce. But yes, we do require it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So another thing, a lot of people, if they're brand new or they're like me, I was talking to Jeremy before we hit record about going to a second truck. I've pretty much hired my second guy already. We just got to go through some entry level meetings and a meeting at Panera Bread or one of these places or something like that. And I already have like insurance, but what type of insurances does someone need to have whenever they're going from that solo to that second truck and adding more employees?
Yeah, you got to have workers' comp first and foremost. You need to have workers' comp for yourself, but that's a lot lower policy than once you start having other people. And then once they start driving your truck, your commercial auto policy goes through the roof. And then obviously you got to add more workers' comp for somebody else. But when you get into commercial, which I highly recommend everybody does, that's where the money is. Every company that you work for is going to have certain requirements. $1 million, $1 to $2 million of insurance for just to even be considered. So, and then you got to start talking about, do you 1099 them or do you W-2 them? Right? When you start W-2ing people, you make them a real employee. Now you got payroll tax, you got FICA, you got Social Security, you got state tax. So you pay this person, you're going to end up paying 25 to 35% more on top of what you're paying them just in taxes.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of stuff to navigate. It's tough, but it's just like anything, man. You just got to start going, and you're going to build and build, and you're going to have a small win every day, every week, every month, and you're going to build. And the next thing you're going to know, you're going to have a business. I started with one helper that was a 1099. Now, I realized that you can't do that, right? When they're wearing your stuff and riding in your truck and all that stuff, that you have to W-2 them. But then I remember when I put all my one employee at the time, and I was like, holy, how much am I having to pay every week in tax? But it's part of the game, man. It's part of the game. So, and then you got to get, again, like the original question, you got to get added insurance, but you get a return on it. Once you get those insurances, now you're eligible for these bigger contracts, and then they just kind of start coming. You got to know where to look, but I would say that for another show.
Well, I got another question for you. Not because you keep mentioning it. You got to get to commercial. You got to get to commercial. I agree. I agree. The recurring stuff, commercial. I like a mix. He left because he's doing big stuff now. I'm a smaller operation. I prefer a mix, like a hybrid type of system. But I totally agree about the commercial side. Getting into that is very, very important, and that's where the more lucrative, big checks come in bulk, like in big lump sums, rather than a bunch of individuals. So for someone who wants to get some commercial work, Jeremy, maybe they're only doing residentials right now. Maybe they're just starting out and they only get 3 yards, right? But they don't want to be intimidated. They want to go and get some commercial work. How should someone approach, getting commercial work?
Yeah. So commercial work comes from property managers, plain and simple, period. That's just all there is to it. That is your clientele as a property manager. So start small and learn the game, because it is a game. It's a different game. Just go to Google and type property management company near me and find one that's small. If you're a small outfit, start with a small property management company. Don't be going to Graystar and Rangewater and Cushman Wakefield and all these big companies that they won't even let you in the door, because you got to build up to that. So find just a small one. It's got a couple ratings, whatever. Give them a call. See if you can set up a lunch and learn. Write that down. That's the buzzword. That's the
lunch and learn.
Yeah,
that's the lingo for for getting these meetings.
And then they're gonna be like, okay, then you know what you're talking about. If you say, hey, can I come in and do a presentation? No. Can I come in and have a meeting? No. Can I come in and do a lunch and learn? They're gonna be like, oh, you must have done this before. It took me like 2 years to figure that out. So that's what you want to do. Start with somebody, a very small company, and see if you can set up a lunch and learn. Go in there and pitch yourself and make relationships. Find one property manager that you can make a relationship with. Once you make that relationship, you're going to get opportunities. When you get the opportunity, don't screw it up. It's very simple. Don't screw it up. Do what you got to do to make that person happy, and then just rinse and repeat. And keep doing it. Keep going to more management companies or more managers within that one company. It takes money to make money, man. You got to take them to lunch. You got to bring them lunch. You got to do things. You got to spend money, right? That's your marketing budget. When you're doing residential, you're spending marketing on Google or door hangers or yard signs. When you're doing commercial, your marketing money is events and meetings and lunches and stuff. Taking people to, I don't know if you guys have Top Golf there, but we have Top Golf here. Taking people to Top Golf and hey, a round of drinks and some appetizers, and we're going to whack golf balls, and we're just going to get to know each other, because business is all about relationships. People buy from people, period. That's just all there is to it. So find somebody.
Yeah, bro. Someone told me that at Equip Expo one year. I ain't going to say no names, but they told me that. He said, I mean, you want to, me personally, like, I would love to have a deal with one of these mower brands or something and get a free mower like I see some of these other people getting. But you think like, Toro, for instance, that's what I personally use, so that's what I'll talk about. To be able to get in that room with them people who make the decisions, right? And this guy said to me, he said, "Hey, listen, everyone thinks you're working for Toro or you're working for Jobber, but you're not. You're working for the person who makes the decision on who they're going to work with. So find that person, create relationships with them, smooth them up a little bit, right? And then they know who you are. They remember who you are because you made them feel good. Because people don't remember what you say; they remember how you made them feel. And if you make someone feel good, man, then you're going to have a leg up on the competition.
That's right. And partnerships start as a relationship. So you just got to go make relationships and just be yourself, man. And there's going to be times where you go take people out and you do not vibe. It is what it is. It is what it is. Not everybody's going to get along with you. You're not going to click with everybody, but it's a numbers game. you just keep doing it. And the more you do it, the better experience, you have, and you can grow and build upon it and take that into your next meeting. And like I said, once you just find one person that you can create that partnership with, it snowballs from there. It snowballs from there, and you learn the game. So the quicker you start, the quicker you're in the game.
Well, I got one more question for you, but before we get to that, where can everyone find you if they want to get in contact with you? What's the best way to do all of that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, mostly Instagram. I have a little TikTok page, a little YouTube page, but I'm not really active on it yet, right? It's kind of working our way up to that. Instagram, Landscape Tycoon is my handle on Instagram. I'm going to tell you how I got that name. I said at the beginning, I had no experience. I had no landscape experience. I had no business experience. I had no degree in business. I never took a business class. The only real informal business training that I had was a video game back in the day called Dino Park Tycoon and Roller Coaster Tycoon, right? If you guys remember that, right? And if you guys ever played the game, Dino Park Tycoon, you had this park and you got to buy dinosaurs and set the ticket prices and set the food prices and all this. You would see the metrics and you'd either be making money or going out of business. And so that's where I got the name from, Landscape Tycoon.
That's
fine.
fine.
It'd be a good game, yeah.
Go give them a follow at the Landscape. I think it's Landscape _ Tycoon. We got to make sure.
Yeah.
So Landscape _ Tycoon. But we had a question earlier, and this is always the closing question. It was from a homie Jay, but he says, well, it's the question I was going to ask anyway. But what advice would you give to someone to help them be successful this year?
So we touched on it, man. Try to invest in yourself. Number one piece of it's going to be a couple parts. Number one, clean up what you follow on Instagram, right? What you consume will eventually consume you. It's an algorithm. Get your algorithm set up for success. Don't be following stuff that drags you down. Follow profiles and pages and people that are going to take you to the next level. And then from there, get yourself in the right rooms with the right people. Start networking. Invest in yourself. Show up to these events. Don't be shy. Introduce yourself to people. If you see me, come up and talk to me. I promise you, I will talk to you. If you see Matt, go talk to him. If you see Keith Kalfish, Jonathan Potoshnik, Paul Jameson, Pajak, Naylor, any of these guys, go talk to them. Get yourself in these rooms. Again, align yourself with the people that can impact your future and, learn from them and just be a sponge. That's the best advice I got.
That's good, man. Well, listen, I hope that you enjoyed tonight's interview with my man, Jeremy Talboy, the owner of North Georgia Landscape Management, and he is also the Landscape Tycoon. This has been fire, bro. I'm so happy we finally got to do this, even if it was 2 years later. But if you got some value from this video, this interview, this podcast, I don't know how you're watching or listening, do me a favor, give it a like, subscribe if you feel so inclined to do that. But what I could really use is some 5-star reviews on Apple and Spotify podcasts so that people can understand that the show has some value and that it actually helps people, because that's what we strive to do, is help you win in life. But make sure that you look at the links down in the description of the video or in the podcast, and sign up for the 2026 Win in Life Service Business Showcase Meetup. That will be March 21st, 2026 at 101 Mall Boulevard. I'm going to update the link and everything so it has all the information. We'll be debuting a brand new cornhole game to go along with the rock, paper, scissors tournament. And I forgot to mention, it is 100% free for you to attend. On Friday night, we will be going to Buffalo Wild Wings. You buy your own food there, but we'll be having a meet and greet there. On Saturday, we'll have the event from 1 to 4 p.m. We'll have pizza, and the lemon lineup will be there, providing you with these fire lemonades that we got. We'll have different showcases, setups of different people's setups who are going to be coming from all over the doggone country. We got people coming from California and Washington State. I'm in Pittsburgh, by the way. Florida, Tennessee, Kentucky, like all over the damn country. People are coming in to be a part of the Winning Life family and come to this meetup. And then Sunday, if you decide to stay till Sunday, you can come attend a church service with my family and I, and we will probably do a little goodbye lunch like we did with Big Buckeye, my man John Crawley last year, who stayed for church on Sunday. There's 2 hotels that are within 5 minutes of where the meetup will happen. We got a Holiday Inn Express that is out here. There's no room blocks or anything, but there shouldn't be anybody here at the beginning of March. So I'll put the websites and all of that stuff for the Holiday Inn and the Hampton Inn respectfully. Something just fell in the background, scared the hell out of me, but it's a live show. And then, so you'll have a place to stay if you decide to stay there for the weekend, like my man Rick Schaefer is doing from up in Wisconsin. He's coming with his wife to enjoy Pittsburgh. Hopefully we get them some Pittsburgh. But all of those links, free email estimate templates and all that stuff is down in the description. You're welcome to join our Winning Life Facebook group. And don't forget that next week, my man BYD, Michael Bauman, the big yard dog from Bermuda Grass Central, will be here to share his Winning Life story. And the last show of the month will be my man Litho's Lawn Care, my man Chris, who started his business, I think last year or this year, and he's going to be sharing his story on how he got into the business and has been inspired to help you. But as always, I love you. I appreciate you. I wish you nothing but success. And remember, the Creator created you to be creative. So get out there and create whatever you want in your life because you deserve it. Me and Jeremy, we out. Peace.